20-point lead, man, that's devastating.
It is, but every loss is a lesson. So
That's right.
hopefully Oliver and his players, they'll be able to regroup, figure out what went wrong, maybe adjust a little bit to the full court press.
Now down by 7.
And they'll come back stronger than ever.
And they turn it over again. It's last touched by the Firebirds. Are going to get the ball. So they got a mulligan there because the Titans were going for it. 14 seconds remaining in regulation. Down by 7.
And you're asking for a lot here, though. 7 points in 14 seconds. Gonna need a miracle for that.
A jumper off the rim, no good. Rebound back by Lewis, and they're going to foul him. Foul on number 1. Kenny Collins for the Firebirds.
And the energy's just gone here, Wesley.
Yeah. This place was electric less than, 5 minutes ago?
Less than that, probably, about 3 minutes ago, because the Firebirds were only down by 1 or 2 points at that moment.
And it was going back and forth, titter-tattering.
But 2 costly mistakes from the Firebirds. Letting Harbaugh go to the basket and then not being wise with the inbounds pass, that has made the difference here in the final minute and a half.
Tampa Bay Titans are going to sweep the weekend here on the road in Raleigh. They're going to go to 2-1 on the season. For the Raleigh Firebirds, they go to 0-4 on the year. At the horn, we still have 8 seconds to play remaining, but now they're up by 8. And unless some miracle happens within the next 8 seconds, this game's over. And they'll fall to 0-4 on the year, losing all of their games on the road and at home. And they'll prepare to go back on the road against the Albany Patrons, defending champions of the TBL next Friday night, and the Tri-State Admirals in New Jersey on Saturday as they protect the ball. Tyshawn Edwards lets the horn blare, and that is the game. Final score when it's all said and done, it is 150 to 141, a 9-point lead when the game ends, and when it's all said and done, a tough loss for, again, the Raleigh Firebirds. Another game that they have failed to 0-4 on the season.
Yeah, but you got to give some credit to the Titans here. I mean, they were down 20 points in this game, and they turned to their experience, and Bones, Harbaugh, Adoob, and everyone else, and they grinded their way back, went toe-to-toe with the Firebirds. The Firebirds made the Titans work for that victory today, and work for it they did, but now the Firebirds 0-4 in the year, they got to regroup after tonight, and knowing the amount of experience they have on this roster and with their coaching staff, they'll do just that.
Yeah, it's a tough break for sure. Again, 0-4 on the year, and they come on the cusp so close of winning these games, and they fall short down the home stretch. It's so disappointing. Being the lead announcer with Trey Snyder and yourself, Brandon, and Daniel Moore, it's so disappointing that coming down to the stretch, these mistakes happen for sure.
But we talked about on the broadcast earlier today, I mean, this is a new team from the one last year. Keelan Paulmore, Brock Young, Justin Grady, all those guys are gone. They have to find new scorers and new leaders to step up. They still have Darius Leonard, and Caden LeBray did come back from his first game today, but there's still a lot of inexperience and some lack of chemistry with this offense. So they're going to have to, figure that out and keep working hard and just build from tonight. That's what they have to do.
We're going to take a quick radio timeout and broadcast timeout. We're going to grab a word with the coaches, both on the winning and the losing side. For Lazarus Sims, he will go back to Tampa, Florida in a very high spirits, sweeping the weekend here in Raleigh. And we'll talk to always DeMarcus Oliver. Brandon White will handle that when we come back. This is the Symmetry Financial post-game wrap-up. A tough break, 150-141 for the Firebirds. This is Raleigh Firebirds basketball on the CRN Sports Network audiocast and on TBL Sportscaster.
Looking for a life insurance company that specializes in what you actually need? Protection. Call Danny today with Symmetry Financial. Danny is certified in all 50 states, which means Symmetry Financial is not limited and has over 30 companies to choose from. Symmetry Financial has proved time and time again that their options and pricing is just better than the rest. Give Danny a call today at 828-994-1681 to see how Symmetry Financial can make life simple. The Raleigh Firebirds are brought to you by Symmetry Financial, Chick-fil-A, Roofwise, York, Gerber, and North Carolina Biotechnology Center, Sinclair Broadcast Group, Scott Free, in loving memory of Scott Gruder, Golden Corral Buffet and Grill, and Kitty Care Academy. TBL is dedicated to serving our communities. Outreach efforts include daytime games for school-age students with programming at halftime, centered on issues of bullying, self-confidence, and reputation safety. Day games are sponsored by local businesses and are a tremendous platform of impact. TBL is proud to be on CRN. Follow us at crnsports.org.
Welcome back to the Symmetry Financial postgame wrap-up on the CRN Sports Network as well as on TBL Sportscaster. Remember, one of the games in the TBL have been postponed in Albany, New York. The Patrons due to weather. There is one more game that remains. Go to thebasketballleague.net. Click on Sportscaster for the upcoming broadcast as the afternoon cap has concluded as it's 150 to 141. The final score. Brandon White is now standing by with Lazarus Sims, head coach of the Tampa Bay Titans, about their win sweeping Raleigh this weekend.
Live with Lazarus Sims of the Tampa Bay Titans. And Lazarus, you had an incredible game out here tonight. You fought back and forth. You were down by 20 points, and you came all the way back to get the win tonight. How does this win feel?
It feels great because we came back on a good team, a solid team. They got a great coach that's pushing them. And my guys stuck together, like I talked about at halftime, that they just need to stick together one play at a time. There's no home runs in basketball, and we just chip away.
I noticed you were trying some more full-court press there in the second half. You think that ended up making a difference there? Just sell that offense for the Firebirds?
Just the effectiveness of it, because we were doing it in the first half, too. We just wasn't effective. We wasn't executing. So the details at halftime was execution.
And obviously, you sweep the weekend here in Raleigh, two different locations. You're going back home to Tampa Bay with a lot of momentum. So what are some things you're looking to do going forward with your guys?
Build on this momentum and go home. We got a home game, our first home game for this season. So we're going to take this in and go back to practice and knock in some more details and try to get a home win.
Thank you very much, Lazarus.
Thank you.
Wesley, that is Lazarus Sims, obviously in a very ecstatic mood after picking up a 150-141 victory tonight. He's happy heading back home to Tampa Bay.
And a good job there for Lazarus Sims, head coach for Tampa Bay, as they do make that 600-mile trip back to the Sunshine State of Florida. We're going to grab a word here real quickly with Coach DeMarcus Oliver, and then we will recap all of the stats here as we wrap things up here in Raleigh from the Dream Center. Final score 150-141. Brandon, this has to be a disappointing loss, probably a heartbreaker of the season besides Owensboro, and the final score 150-141. They blow a 20-point lead, and Brandon is with DeMarcus Oliver right now.
I'm here with Coach Oliver of the Firebirds, and Coach, it was a game dominated by momentum shifts. They led a lot, you led a lot at one point, but ultimately, if things favored up the Titans. What do you think went wrong for you guys there at the end?
Well, we're a young team. We have to just learn to stay very persistent. My theme of the second half with our guys was keeping that passion burning from the first half, but staying persistent at the same time. And so that's the learning curve right now that we are experiencing with our group, young group, is establishing this culture and getting our guys to stay persistent when we're up, when we have the lead, when we have an advantage, when we have the fire burning. We have to learn how to keep our foot on the throttle. So that's a part of our growing pains right now.
And obviously, there's still a lot of learning curves with this young team, but you had a lot of production from your bench today. Stewart came up big with those big blocks and several three-point shots. Kenny Collins came off the bench and knocked down a lot of three-pointers. So, I mean, you've got to be thrilled with the performance that you saw from your bench today.
Absolutely. Fair with the overall team performance. Like I said, it's just a cultural thing that we're building, and the guys has got to be persistent when we're making a strong push. That's it.
And I know you're 0-4 on the season, but there's still a long way to go. What do you think the key is going to be for your players to come together and start knocking off some wins here as the season progresses?
Staying persistent. That's it.
Thank you very much, Coach.
Thank you, sir.
Well, I'm done with Coach Oliver. Obviously, not the way he wanted the game to go tonight, but the Firebirds are going to move on and learn from this win and get more wins as the season goes on.
Yeah,
Wesley?
for sure. Thank you, Brandon. And again, they'll prepare to take on the Albany Patrons, the defending champions of the TBL. tomorrow, next Friday night for Valentine's Day. And then, of course, they will also prepare to go to the Tri-State Admirals in New Jersey. We got stats. We'll recap the game. A tough loss when it's all said and done. The final score, 150-141 when the game ends. And again, the Titans will fall. They'll sweep the weekend against the Raleigh Firebirds here in Raleigh. And for, again, the Raleigh Firebirds, they fall to 0-4 on the year. Final timeout. When we come back, we will close her out here in Raleigh. This is the Symmetry Financial postgame wrap-up on the CRN Sports Network and TBL Sportscaster live from Raleigh at the Dream Center. Such a devastating loss for the Raleigh Firebirds as the game concludes. It's 150-141. The Firebirds fall to 0-4 in the season. Welcome back to TBL Sportscaster coverage and on the CRN Sports Network. Brandon White, Wesley Outland here with you. And as we continue with the Symmetry Financial Report postgame wrap-up, I have to say it. You blow a 20-point lead. There were comments in the chat box on Sportscaster saying, never count out Tampa Bay. They're going to be there at the end. Something's going to happen. We saw momentum be at a high pendulum and a low, and Tampa Bay wanted it more, I felt.
And one of the main reasons why they won is because of the efficiency of their three offensive players. You have Tamarick Bones, who finished his night with 17 points. Harbaugh came home with a 26-point performance, and then Adoob leading the way for the Titans with 28 points on the night, one of 8 players to score in double figures for the Titans. And we knew that was going to be expected tonight. They're a very high, powerful offensive team. The Firebirds, they can be very powerful on offense as well, but they needed to figure out how to stop those big three for the Titans, and unfortunately, those three came up big for their team in the end, and the Firebirds came away with another L.
I saw so many great things, and again, I'm not taking anything away from the Raleigh Firebirds because they've got potential. They've got the opportunity. They've got the deep ball. They can throw it downtown for threes, and they can make field goal shots and free throws and go to the basket if need be and draw fouls, but they got to find a way to stop their own mental errors, their own drawing fouls on the other teams, their own mental mistakes. I saw that, and that would cost them a 20-point lead down the stretch.
And that's something they're going to work on as the season goes on. It's still a very young season. They're going to win games. We know that for sure. We don't know when that first win's coming, but it's going to be coming soon, and that's because of guys like Jonathan Milligan, who had 24 points tonight. Caden LeBray, he had 22 points tonight in his first game back. He was one of the guys that was on their team last year, one of the few that came back. So they have what it takes to win games, but they just had to put it all together.
So after losing to Indy Express last Saturday to kick off the year, losing a heartbreaker by 3 to the Owensboro Thoroughbreds last Sunday on Super Bowl Sunday by 3, then they lose a homestand against the Tampa Bay Titans. Now they prepare to go back on the road against the defending champions of the Basketball League National Championship, Albany Patrons, on Friday night, Valentine's Day, the day of love, and then they play Saturday night in New Jersey against the Tri-State Admirals. For the Raleigh Firebirds, again, a disappointment. Now, let's recap the stats for the winning team when it's all said and done. The Tampa Bay Titans, 150-141.
Well, we've already talked about what Bones, Harfoff, and Adu did, but let's go into the other players who had double digits. Ken Lewis, off the bench with 16 points. Reginald Burke, we talked about some